Fuck them Cowboys! Yeah!
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Space Cowboy. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about things that I'm looking forward to seeing in the next game, and that's being played in Hawaii at Aloha Stadium versus the Rams, okay? Typically when it comes to the second preseason game, it's kind of similar to the first game, except now you know what you saw from the last game and you want to see the players improve on that. So, for example, we all know Mike White didn't look so well, what else is there to say? Mike White, I understand he's playing with backups, but there was times where he felt overwhelmed out there. Well, to me, it looked like he was overwhelmed. I don't know how he felt about it, but he looked overwhelmed, right? But at the same time, you saw glimpses of things, like Jon'Vea Johnson had glimpses. Devin Smith, number 15, showed out at the wide receiver position. You had Cody McElroy, or McElroy, however you pronounce it, number 84, he showed some plays. Number 57, Gifford, I think it's Luke Gifford, I could be wrong, number 57, he made an interception and some key plays. Listen, I'm telling you, man, this team has such good talent around it. It's just a matter of who could take advantage of the situation, right? Because when you look at what's going on, you have some of the, like Byron Jones is not playing in the preseason so far. DeMarcus Lawrence isn't playing in the preseason so far because, they have these surgeries that they did to, fix these ailing injuries that they had before. And the big thing is you got to be careful if you're one of the lower guys on the depth chart because, hey, you have a chance to show up and show out what you can do. And if you're not going to take advantage of that, you're not going to make this roster, okay? When they cut Allen Hurns, it opened the door to wide receivers for some guys. And, I felt like Devin Smith made some progress. Jon'Vea Johnson had glimpses, but I feel like he needs to refine a bit. At the defensive line spot, you saw some guys take advantage of that opportunity. And for me, the most important thing is, while we know what people have been saying, we know what people have been looking at, we're all looking at the same thing, right? Now, I want to see improvement from some of the guys like I mentioned before, like Mike White, Jon'Vea Johnson, Mitch Hyatt, one of them. He had some moments here and there, but for the most part, he disappointed. I just want to see the Cowboys, more so the players that are the second, third, fourth, etc., those guys, I want them to improve and do better. Now, look, when you have a bunch of guys around you that aren't as talented as some of these other guys, it's going to show, okay? Like, that's not something ridiculous to say. Like, if Mike White's playing behind an offensive line that's not doing their part, of course he's going to look bad. That's no excuses for him because he still has to hold on to the ball. He still has to do these other situations that he has to be careful in, right? But at the same time, it's kind of hard to evaluate certain people when the other rotating parts aren't as good, okay? Or they aren't playing as well. Not that they don't have the ability to be good, but just, they just haven't done anything to really warrant some praise. Now, another thing I wanted to kind of hammer the point on is this, okay? Look, if someone as a starter makes a mistake in the preseason, are we going to crucify them for making said mistake? So let's say hypothetically that, I don't know, Tony Pollard fumbles, or maybe Dak Prescott throws an interception, or Tyron Smith gives up a sack. Are we going to get super pissed off that they made a single mistake in a preseason game where that stat doesn't count? More so, hey, listen, this is the time, if you do make mistakes, to try and get that as cleaned up as possible. That is the point of the preseason and the training camp and stuff like that. Like, there was a report that came out that Jimmy Garoppolo threw like 5 straight interceptions before he threw a touchdown. Is that necessarily meaning that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a bad quarterback this season? Absolutely not. Listen, if someone makes a mistake in a camp or a preseason game, especially if they're a starter, you can learn from that, right? Like, if someone were, like, let's say, you know, a lot of people were talking about Dak Prescott in the red zone nearly threw an interception. If he does throw that interception, okay, well, that's his fault, and he just has to learn better and move on. Okay, like, it's just like there are certain situations where I've been seeing on on Facebook, Twitter, etc., where people be like, "Oh, X person made a mistake, get him off the roster," or "X person did super well, make sure he's on the roster." Listen, you can't take an evaluation from one game and make that the entire report of that player. Okay, we need to see a whole track record through 4 preseason games to determine can this person stay on the roster or not. So look, I'm not going to be sweating bullets. I'm not going to be losing sleep at night if one thing happens in a preseason game, if a starter does it, a backup does it, stuff like that. It's if I see a track record of no improvement or someone was doing well and they kind of declined, that's when I'll start being like, hey, listen, you kind of gotta be weary about that. But it's just the preseason, you know, like, I even said it in my first video, I'm not expecting the play calling to be super stellar. I'm not expecting the greatest of game play, or however you want to phrase it, because I don't want to see, like, all these crazy plays in a single preseason game. Like, just, like, you know what I mean? Like, just because Kellen Moore, whoever the hell is calling the offensive plays, or the defense coordinator, like if Rod Marinelli, Chris Richard, or whatever are calling certain plays on both sides of the ball, and it's not looking efficient or whatever, just because they aren't doing it doesn't mean they aren't going to do it. You know, we'll have to wait and see in the regular season, or maybe in the dress rehearsal game, if we see some form of these dynamic play calling that we're trying to see, or we haven't seen in a while. So look, in the second preseason game, I'm just going to wrap up with these quick thoughts. Number one, we want to see some improvement from the last preseason game with some of the people that struggled, and we want to see continued praise and continued growth from the people that did well, okay? Another thing is, listen, do not expect everything to be, you know, great and everything in terms of the play calling and things of that nature, because again, it's preseason. You're not going to show your whole hand in a meaningless game. I'm not saying that they can't try, but don't expect that, because you're not going to get it, okay? And the final thing is, listen, we use the preseason, if we're looking at starters, to iron out mistakes and make sure that everyone's good, and as the backups and those guys to try and refine themselves, so if they need to step in, they can do it, and also be on the roster. Okay, I want to hear what you guys are looking forward to in this upcoming preseason game. I'm not really big gung-ho on what I'm expecting, because I kind of get a sense of what I'm going to get, but hey, that's just that. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, follow me on Twitter at SpaceCowboy17, and with that being said, I'll be seeing you guys later. Alright guys, peace out, bye-bye.